Have you ever woken up in the morning and had an inspired idea that you thought, I just absolutely have to take action on this? Well, this new NFA Money playlist is one of those. So I woke up the other day and I thought, you know what? I'm going to do something really vulnerable and fun, and I'm going to document my journey to $1 million in my business. Now, I had this idea a little bit last year, but I was scared. It's a scary thing to reveal the phases of business development to scale, because we get this idea in our heads that it should happen faster than it does. We compare ourselves to other people who are years ahead of us in the game, and we go, oh my God, I want everyone to think I'm successful all the time. And it's just a scary feeling to be transparent and show up and go, hey, here's the reality of my business and here's what it takes to scale. So this playlist is going to be called The Business Scaling Journey to 1 Million. And I'm going to bring videos to you every week talking to you about what I'm doing to take my business from where it's at right now. Today on this recording, we're on January 3rd, 2022, and what it's going to take for me to build my business to 7 figures by the end of 2022. So first, I'm Dr. Amanda. This is the NFA Money channel. This is your place to up-level your money mindset, to get tips, inspiration, insights, reflections, strategies to help you up-level your money mindset so you can master it, and then your money making gets easier. That is what I'm dedicated to bringing you, because if you don't have a handle on your money mindset, it will take you down and you will never be able to build a successful business. Or you'll feel really crappy while you're doing it because you'll be working way too hard. So that's what we're going to talk about on this playlist and on the NFA Money channel. I went from food stamps to building a 6-figure business. And it was in my very first year of business that I went to 6 figures. And since then, 2022 is my 4th year of business. So I'm moving into my 4th year of business. And every year since I started, I've made more money and I've worked less. Now, I haven't made a lot more money. I've just up-leveled my income every year by a little bit, and I've worked way less. And so this year, I need to have a 7.8x growth scaling process in order to get to $1 million. So my 2021 income was around $127,000. Okay, so we're talking about $127,000 of annual income. It was the first year that I worked way less. I took weeks off. I took lots of 4-day weekends. I got married. I moved, and so I worked a lot less than I did any other year of my entire life. And I still made more money. The year before that, I made around 111, and my first 6-figure year was 103. So it's been going up every year, even during COVID, and not in a huge way. Last year, I really had the goal in 2021 of I'm going to work less, make more, and have fun. I achieved that goal. And now at the beginning of this year, I'm going, okay, it's my 7-figure year. So I want to talk to you about the stages of business development today from this vulnerable place of what I've gone through and what I've experienced to scale my business, because I know that you as an entrepreneur you have some goal. Maybe it's not 7 figures, maybe it's 6, maybe it's 50 grand a year. Whatever it is for you, you've got to start scaling up from where you're at. And that's going to take you understanding how to scale a business with dropping imposter syndrome, dropping your fears, your uncertainties, your doubts, and really stepping into your zone of genius and enjoying what you do, because what's the point if you don't enjoy what you're doing? And it's easy to get lost in the details of building a business and just get lost. I wrote in one of my newsletters recently that I missed having fun with my social media. My first year of social media, I really just played with it and I had fun and I put content out there, and then it became a to-do, like checking the box, kind of one of those have-tos instead of I love to. And so in 2022, I'm like, screw that. I want to have fun building my business. And that was something I really refined toward last year. And I still reflectively experience these things. So I'm sure there are things you're doing in your business that you hate. And remember, you can't get what you want doing what you don't want to do. Okay, what you're doing when you do that is putting out really negative energy that's resistant and repellent, and it causes your money flow to decrease. And I don't want you to do that. I want your money flow to increase. So let's talk about the stages of business development And then I'm just going to be vulnerable and share with you some of the shit I've gone through to build my business. So first, there's 4 phases that I went through, and I'm doing them year by year of the overarching theme that I can think of how I experienced it. So number 1, the first phase, and I'm going to tell you all 4 and then break them down. Number 1 was ideas and massive action. So for me, this was in 2019. It was ideas and massive action. 2, discovery and pivots. 3, refinement into my zone of genius, or into your zone of genius. And number 4, bamboo level growth. And that's this year. So let's break these down. In the first year of business development, or the first phase of your business development, you're going to have a lot of ideas. Like, when you're inspired and you step into entrepreneurship, the ideas just flow. I mean, I used to stay up all night sometimes, just almost manic, excited about my business and just going, yes, 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 this and that, and writing things down and just implementing in a way that I thought, oh, I need to create this post and this value. And I didn't know what I was doing. I just felt so inspired. And so I had ideas, and then I would take massive action. And that massive action was important because to break through to 6 figures fast, you've got to be talking to people all the time. Okay, there's a huge learning curve that happens when you decide to become an entrepreneur. You wear a lot of different hats. You're a marketer. You've got your area of expertise that you're focusing on. You are a business owner. You are wearing, you got to learn copy and email and thumbnails and social media, and you don't always have to do all of those things. And in this era of business, if you want to have a successful, let's say, online business as a solopreneur, and you build a delegation team over time, you got to learn quite a bit. And so be realistic with yourself. When you're in this ideas and massive action stage, have fun with your inspiration, get out there, take action, talk to people, and also know if you're scaling to 1 million and that's your long-term goal, you got to start getting a little bit strategic. You can ride inspiration for a long time, and it can get you really far. It definitely got me to the 6-figure mark. I was inspired. I was determined. I had set the goal that I was going to break 6 figures in my first year. And so I went to every networking event I could possibly go to. Of course, this was pre-COVID. I went to sometimes 5 networking events a week, and I just talked to people, and then I just had powerful conversations. And in those conversations, they would at the end say, "Can I work with you?" And I would on the fly create a package or a program because I didn't really have anything. They would never go to my website. They didn't even look at my social media. It was powerful conversations with those ideas and that massive action. And that massive action really in that first year was a lot of talking to people and then starting to think, okay, how am I going to plant the seeds to start to grow an expert platform? So for me, that looked like starting a YouTube channel and podcasting. And I really focused on the podcasting part, and my YouTube channel was just a side note. This is the first year in the last few months that I've really started focusing on YouTube, and I have big plans for YouTube. One of my 2022 goals is I want YouTube influencer status. So I've shifted that since the first year. And then that first year it was podcasting. So I started a podcast, and I would take the content from my podcast, and that was my social media posts. And then what I did was be very consistent and learned everything I could about podcasting. And I just thought, okay, I'm just going to consistently release episodes. I'm going to consistently post it. And what that led to was joint ventures. And it had people noticing me. I don't have a huge following on social media still. It just was the right people, and I was speaking to the right people. And so in that first phase, the ideas and massive action phase, you're going to have ideas flowing. You're going to have no idea what you're doing. You're going to feel a lot of imposter syndrome, and you're going to develop a strong mindset if you're going to succeed. You're going to listen to videos like this. You're going to hang out with me. You're going to email me if you want to work with me so that you can stay in the game. Okay, because most people fail because they aren't willing to do what it takes with their strong mindset first. They have a pie in the sky idea. I want to build a 6-figure business. And then they start to take a lot of scattered action, and they don't get a lot of results, and then they give up. And I promise you, you can have a 6-figure and plus business. You can build your business to whatever level you want. It's going to take you having a powerful mindset and being consistent and staying in the game long term because you have a powerful why. And my why was really powerful. So in that ideas and massive action, it was me starting to brand. It was me starting to think, what do I want to do in the world? What do I care about? What do I want to bring to the table? So I want you to think about that for yourself. Why are you doing your business? And are you dedicated for the long term? Because not a successful business doesn't just drop in your lap. Not everyone should be an entrepreneur. Not everyone is capable of being an entrepreneur. Well, actually, let me rephrase. Everyone is capable if they want to. Some people will not do what it takes. And I don't think entrepreneurship is for everyone. If you're here watching this right now, you're probably inspired to be an entrepreneur. You're probably already on the success path toward being a successful entrepreneur. And you're wanting it. You're hungry. You feel like, yes, I want to design my life on my terms. I want to make as much money as I possibly can, impacting the world in ways that I enjoy. That's the mindset it takes. So you're gonna have a huge learning curve. You probably are gonna have some beginner's luck. I mean, I definitely did. I didn't know what I was doing, but I had so much inspiration that I was able to attract people my way, and I made a difference. And I started charging what I was worth pretty quickly. You know, I really got that mindset around, okay, if I want to be able to pay my bills and build my business, I've got to charge what I'm worth. And of course, in all of these phases, you're planting seeds, constantly planting seeds. Okay. And you're not getting freaked out about rejection because you know that those seeds that you planted are going to blossom at some point. It might not be with that person, but it might be a connection that you made. It might be just because you keep showing up, people know you're serious. They're like, oh yeah, she's on a mission to change the world through her business and she's not going anywhere. I can count on her and rely on her, right? So that's the first phase, ideas and massive action. And you're going to make some messy action in this phase. I definitely did. Like, I tried everything. I went to different networking events and sometimes they were totally successful. Sometimes I'd go home just like drained and be like, oh my God, I hate networking. And that's why in the next year, in this number 2, discovery and pivots. So that's the next phase. In discovery and pivots, I was like, I got to take my business online because this networking all the time is making me really drained. I'm an introvert at heart. And so going out and being that outward all the time was pretty intense for me. And I had fun and I met some amazing people and I got some incredible clients, and I was pretty drained at the end of every week. And so for me, I had this insight, this was pre-COVID in 2020, that I needed to take my business online. So I look at this second stage as discovery and pivoting, okay? So in that first phase, you're having ideas and you're taking massive action, and then you're starting to discover more about being an entrepreneur. You're starting to discover more about your area of expertise. You're starting to discover what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy, and who you're good at working with and who you can get results for. And you're making constant pivots because you've got to be self-reflective enough to go, what's working, what's not, what do I need to shift and adjust in order to start to refine my business into something that I really enjoy, instead of just having it. I mean, you can really turn your business into a prison and into it feeling even worse than a job because you're just working all the time and not even making enough money and don't have health insurance and all those things. So you could create that for yourself, and that's not what I want. So you want to start in the second phase, discovery and pivoting. Okay. And what that takes is self-reflective awareness. How I did this was daily journaling and really continuing on with personal growth and development and hanging out with like-minded entrepreneurs who were successful. You know, this is where I started going to a lot of workshops and hiring coaches and going like, okay, I'm going to need some help here. I didn't always listen to all the coaches because I just discovered a block I have that I'll talk to you about in a little bit, but I cared a lot and I started to refine and discover. So remember that if you're in this phase, you know, you're in the second phase of business where you've been in business a while, whether you're financially super successful or not, whatever that means to you, you're going to start refining yourself in this discovery and pivoting phase. And I want you to start thinking like, how can I pivot my business to more of a place of joy? So for me, this looked like, okay, joint ventures work really well. Who do I want to do joint ventures with? What kind of podcasting do I want to do? And I just really got into this place of allowing myself to discover instead of survive. So in that first phase, you're almost in survival mode. You know, you're like, God, I'm just starting my business. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning a lot. And the months of money are like this. And oh my God, it's a lot. In this next phase of discovery and pivots, you're still wondering if it will succeed. You're still taking massive action. You're still having lots of ideas. You're still planting seeds. And you're getting better at learning where to pivot, how to pivot, when to pivot, okay? And you're listening to yourself. In all of this, you want to be self-reflective and journal every day so you can listen to yourself and go, what do I enjoy? What don't I enjoy? What am I good at? What am I not so good at? How do I get results for people? Who do I get results for? Like, start digging into that self-awareness and start to play with the idea that you really can create a business that's easy and fun and flowing because you're living in your zone of genius, where you really spend your day doing exactly what you want. That's in phase 3, right? And it takes that discovery and pivot process, because you got to start shifting and getting aligned toward living more and more in your zone of genius. Okay, so in phase 3, for me, this was last year, 2021, it was refinement into zone of genius. Okay, and so when you're in your zone of genius, you have way less fear, you have more confidence, you have more certainty, you have more clarity, you have more fun because you're doing things you enjoy doing. And in this is where you really start to get better at delegation, and you realize, I can't do it all alone, and I don't want to do it all alone. Truthfully, you could do it all alone, but you don't want to do it all alone. Proper delegation will make you money, because then you get to live in your zone of genius doing the things that you really are inspired by, and that's magnetic to money. And so in 2021, you've heard me say that my mantra was work less, make more, have fun. Work less, make more, have fun. So every time I took on a new project, I would think, is this the easiest way to make money in my zone of genius? And I really started to refine. So about halfway through the year in 2021, I started to realize, like, oh God, I don't want 20 one-on-one clients on my books. I want more white space in my calendar because I feel overloaded. And so, yeah, it made me a lot of money in 2020. I had a really great year doing mostly one-on-one clients. I had one online course that sold well. And when I say well, I made about $30,000 from an online course, and the rest of my income came from one-on-one coaching and a couple of masterminds that I started. And so it was a mix. So my first year, I was doing almost exclusively one-on-one coaching. And at the very end of the year, I started doing some, no, that first year it was all one-on-one coaching. Yes, it was all one-on-one coaching the first year. Second year, I shifted toward a little less one-on-one, a little more masterminds, and some online courses. Third year, I shifted even more. And at the end of 2021, right now, I have one-on-one client only. And I'm always willing to take on a few, but I cherry pick them, and I am really strategic about it because I love having white space on my calendar to do videos, to create, to share, to learn, to teach. And then in my masterminds, that's where I get to my coaching, where I have groups of people I work with. And so I've shifted, and this is a philosophy if you're in a coaching business, where you go, okay, 1-to-1, 1-to-few, 1-to-many. And the way that you scale is the 1-to-many. Unless you're charging $100,000 per client, you're gonna have a hard time getting to $1 million because it's not scalable. Like, there's only one of you, and there's only so much time in the day. And so I started to shift to scale in order to go, okay, in this 4th year of my business, the scaling process is now group coaching, group masterminds, and courses. Okay, and so that's my focus for 2022. So you see how that curve, it's like a learning curve of discovery and me stepping into my zone of genius and really realizing for myself, okay, I love coaching, one-on-one coaching. I spread myself too thin. I want more white space on my calendar where I have free playtime, unstructured, to create in my business and let that flow, which means, okay, what's the scaling plan in order to get to 7 figures? It can't be through one-on-one coaching unless I find, 10 clients who want to pay me $100,000 a year, which is much harder to do than finding, creating masterminds that are larger groups and creating an online course that sells really well. And so I want you to think about that refinement piece into your zone of genius. Get clear in this phase where you're refining into your zone of genius about what you're going to delegate. So you've got to do a list of what to drop, automate, or delegate. Okay, and the way that I do this has been where I say on the list, I go, what do I love to do? What do I do spontaneously in my business that gets results and brings me joy? Write all that down. Then write down a list on the other side. What do you want to drop that you hate doing, that you don't enjoy doing, that leaves you drained of energy? Write all that down. And on it, next to every item on that list, write down, is this something I can drop, automate, or delegate? Okay, if it's a nonsense thing that you don't really need to be doing, drop it like a hot rock, like hot potato, hot rock, hot potato. Drop it. You don't need to be doing it. Time is valuable. Don't do shit that you don't want to do. Okay, so drop it. If it's something that you must do in your business, and that you need to have a successful business to scale, is it something that you can either automate through a system or delegate through finding somebody else who can do it up to 80% as good as you for way less money? That's the list you want to create. So add, and then keep doing the things on your ad list that you love doing. That's refinement into your zone of genius. And then drop the shit that you don't want, automate it or delegate it. And this helps you get refined into your zone of genius. This again plants seeds for you to be a manifestation master. Okay. So then in the fourth, and I love this one, I'm so excited about this. So fourth year, bamboo level growth. So if you haven't heard about bamboos, it's the coolest personal growth and development story and business building metaphor, because what happens with bamboos for 5 years, this is crazy, 5 years, you plant a bamboo seed day one, okay? You water it, it gets sun, you water it, it gets sun for 5 years straight. And then in the first 6 weeks of the 5th year, the bamboo grows 80 feet. 80 feet in 6 weeks. So did that bamboo grow in 6 weeks, or did it grow in 5 years and 6 weeks? And that whole time you had planted the seed and you were nurturing, and then there's explosive, expansive, exponential growth. That's what you're doing in your business. So don't be discouraged if you're a couple years in and you're not making the money you want to make yet or having the impact you want to have. You're on your way. And so I remind myself this all the time. One of the struggles I've had in my business is negatively comparing myself to people who are way farther along than I am, like been in the industry for 40 years, 10 years, 20 years. And I'm like, they're making millions already. Why am I not making millions already? And so I have these places where I can get hard on myself. And the other day, I was saying this a little while back, I discovered a money block or a mindset block where I was like, oh my God, I have a competing commitment. So remember, competing commitments are this term I came up with for when your unconscious battles your conscious. So you're having an inner battle with yourself where you say you want something, but your unconscious holds you back because that's 95% of you. And I realized one of my competing commitments was that I felt like if I hired a coach or a consultant and they helped me get to $1 million, then it was their accomplishment and not mine. And when I had this epiphany, I was like, oh my God. I mean, I've paid good money to have really powerful business coaching and consulting. And I have this, because I have this competing commitment, I don't always practice what they tell me to do. I sometimes avoid even connecting with them. And so it's just a total waste. And I realized that's ridiculous. Powerful delegation and getting people to help you build your business is smart and strategic. Having coaches and consultants that have your back and teach you what to do is so valuable, because you can get from point A to point Z really fast. And it's funny, I had this belief because I'm a coach and a consultant, right? Like, people are hiring me to help them be successful. So I didn't know I had this until I just had this epiphany the other day, and I was like, oh my God, no wonder, just so many lights went off. And I want you to keep having those kind of epiphanies, because if you want to scale your business to $1 million, and I am dedicated, committed, inspired, and ready to scale my business to 7 figures this year, you're going to need help. I'm going to need help, right? Like, I don't want to do that all alone. I don't want a business where I have a huge team of employees that I have to take care of. Like, that to me doesn't sound good. I know some people have the dream, this might be you, that you're like, I want a company with 50 employees and I just have this dream of having like a huge company. My husband is the VP of a franchise, and a franchise system, there's like a lot of things at play all the time. Some people thrive in that setting. For me, I'm a solopreneur, and then I hire subcontractors who are amazing people on my team, and that's my team. It's simple, it's easy, it's flowing, it's not overwhelming. For me, I know I can scale to $1 million with just a couple team members, very strategically. And so that's what I'm creating, and you can create it however you want. So just remember to think about, what do I want to create in my business? How do I reverse engineer it? And then how do I take steps in the direction? And I never want you to think, as I give you these videos of journeying to $1 million in my business scaling plan, that is a 7.8x growth in 2022. I have struggles too. I sometimes think, I mean, it's funny when you show up for YouTube videos, like I'm going to look my best and be my best and like talk my best. I'm not showing up in my pajamas on a day where I feel really off, and I think maybe that's important sometimes. Like I want you to know I've struggled in these 4 years. I've struggled and I've overcome. Like I'm human and I'm scared sometimes, and I've had imposter syndrome. I've had lots of fears and doubts and uncertainties. Last year was a big year for me in big shifts, and a lot of my focus was on relationship, because one of my big dreams and visions in my life was to have a life partner who I could create a home base with and really flourish and really connect. And before I met him, I always had a limiting belief that you couldn't have both a successful business and a powerful relationship. And, some of that was rooted in that my last partner cheated on me, because he would just literally say to me, like, stop growing, you're growing too fast. And it just wasn't aligned for him. Like I'm totally okay with it. What a gift that we aren't together anymore, because it opened me up to the possibility of being with someone I'm really aligned with. And so in the time, of course, that was really hard. That's another thing I experienced in the middle of building my business. It was like moves and grad school and my kids, getting one of my kids through college, and then, my partner having an affair. I thought he was going to be my life partner, and then he had an affair, and working through that fallout and that repair in myself. And there's been a lot. And I have down days. I have days where I go like, oh my God, can I do it? Right now, declaring out loud, I'm ready, committed, inspired, and dedicated to building a 7-figure business. I'm like, yes, I'm on fire. And there's still a little bit of fear in there. I'm like, God, it's scary to declare that out loud publicly on YouTube to all the people that hang out with me and just go like, here we go, baby, let's do it. It's scary sometimes, and it's scary to have a dream and not be 100% certain when it will be fulfilled. I believe that when you're really committed and you're in your zone of genius, your success is inevitable. So I know my success is inevitable. My business will keep growing. I will keep making an impact. I am committed to being here with my NFA brand, NFA Money brand, and what it stands for, and changing people's lives, because I love to do that. So I'm certain that my success is inevitable. It's just putting, the time stamp on it of like, this is happening in 2022. It's vulnerable. If I fail, you might think I'm a fool. And I know you have those feelings too. You think, if I put myself out there, what if I fail? What if I let people down? What if I don't get there as fast as I want to? Or what if, all the fears and worries and doubts. I have those too. I just use my powerful tools to shift out of it more quickly. And I practice what I preach. I do a morning routine every single day, and it's powerful and it gets me aligned. And now I go like, okay, I'm going to keep busting through my money blocks and breaking through so I can continue to up level, to make more impact, bring you value, and reach my goal of having $1 million business. And in and of itself, like, does that really matter? Like, I don't absolutely need $1 million. It'll be fun. Like, how fun is it to go like, I'm going to make as much money as I can possibly make in my business and make the hugest impact ever? Because the more money I have, the bigger impact I get to make. And that's fun. And, manifesting, like, I'm ready to manifest some fun stuff. I keep having this daydream that I battle within myself, which says something about my money blocks, of like, I want a Mercedes with red leather seats. And I go on this one side of me, like the money blocked side of me is like, you don't need that. It's kind of bougie. Why do you want that? Should I want that? I could just keep with my practical Honda, and then it's so funny to be a manifestation and money mindset coach and have that inner battle sometimes, so I go like, fuck it, I want a Mercedes with red leather seats. How fun is that? I'll probably get a lot of tickets because I love to drive fast, but it's another story. So yeah, let yourself play, let yourself have fun, build your business from the place of your heart. Know that you're going to go through these stages. Again, I'll just recap really quick. Ideas and massive action, stage 1, phase 2, discovery and pivots, phase 3, refinement into your zone of genius, and phase 4, bamboo level growth. I so want to hear from you. I want to know what you got out of this. I want to know what you want me to share about my business building journey. I'm going to keep coming here with, I was thinking it'd be fun to do some screen shares and just show you things I do in my business. Like, I'm here for you. I want you to succeed. That's why I come here every week. So share with me in the comments, what is your scaling goal for your business in 2022? And you could also share, what are you scared of, so I can help you out and bring some tips and tools here. So in the comments, what is your scaling goal for 2022 and what are you scared about, or what's blocking you from getting there, so I can help you out. Remember, if you're liking what you're getting here, click on the thumbs up for this video. It helps us in the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And until next time, I'm sending you big, big hugs and NFA money making high fives.